What if I told you that owning a golden retriever almost cost me $50,000? Not because of property damage, not because of noise complaints, but because of something so ridiculous that even the lawyers couldn't believe it when they first heard my case. My name is Michael Torres, and 3 years ago, I moved into what I thought was my dream home in Riverside Meadows, a gated community in Phoenix, Arizona. Beautiful houses, perfect landscaping, amazing neighbors, or so I thought. But within 6 months, my life turned into an absolute nightmare. And it all started with my dog, Cooper. Before we dive into this insane story, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because the stories I share on this channel will blow your mind. Trust me, after hearing what happened to me, you'll think twice before signing any Homeowners Association agreement. Now, let me take you back to where this whole mess began. It was March 2021. My wife Sarah and I had been house hunting for almost 8 months. We'd seen dozens of properties, but nothing felt right. Then our realtor showed us this gorgeous 4-bedroom colonial in Riverside Meadows. The moment we walked through those iron gates, we fell in love. Perfectly trimmed hedges lined every street. The playground had brand new equipment. There was even a community pool that looked like it belonged at a resort. Every single house looked like it came straight out of a magazine. The house itself? 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, a massive backyard with a privacy fence already installed. It was perfect, especially that backyard, because Sarah and I had been talking about getting a dog for years. Our realtor, Tom, walked us through everything. He mentioned the HOA, of course. Monthly fees were $250, which seemed reasonable for a community this nice. He handed us this thick packet of rules and regulations. Standard stuff, Tom said with a wave of his hand. Just keep your lawn mowed. Don't paint your house neon pink. You know the drill. I should have read that packet more carefully. I really should have. But we were so excited, and honestly, who actually reads every single page of HOA bylaws? That was my first mistake. We closed on the house in early April. By mid-April, we were fully moved in. And by May, we brought home Cooper. Cooper was an 8-week-old golden retriever puppy. Sarah found him through a reputable breeder about an hour outside Phoenix. The moment I held that fuzzy little guy, I was done for. Those big brown eyes, that wagging tail, the way he immediately fell asleep in my arms during the drive home. He was perfect. Sarah set up his crate in our bedroom. We bought all the essentials: food bowls, toys, a bed, training pads. That first night, Cooper cried for maybe 20 minutes before passing out. We took turns getting up with him, just like new parents. Those first few weeks were exhausting but amazing. Cooper learned to sit within 3 days. He was house-trained within 2 weeks, which our vet said was incredibly fast. He loved everyone he met. Kids in the neighborhood would stop by just to play with him. Our neighbors seemed to love him too. The Johnsons next door would wave whenever they saw us walking Cooper. The Martinez family across the street had 2 kids who would ask if they could pet him. Even Mrs. Chun, the elderly lady 2 houses down, would save dog treats for him. Everything was perfect. We thought we'd found our forever home. Then I got the first letter. It was a Tuesday morning in early June. I was heading out to work when I noticed something tucked into our mailbox. Not delivered by the Postal Service, just placed there. It was a white envelope with official HOA notice stamped in red across the front. My stomach dropped a little. Had I forgotten to mow the lawn? Was our trash invisible from the street? I opened it right there at the mailbox. Violation notice was printed in bold at the top. The letter stated that on June 3rd at approximately 3:47 p.m., a prohibited animal was observed in our backyard. According to Section 7, Paragraph 4, Subsection C of the Riverside Meadows HOA bylaws, all pets must be registered with the HOA board within 48 hours of arrival to the property. We had failed to register Cooper. The fine? $500. I stood there staring at this letter, completely confused. $500? For not filling out some form we didn't even know existed? I immediately called Sarah. She was just as shocked as I was. We'd had Cooper for 3 weeks. Nobody had mentioned anything about pet registration. Not our realtor, not our welcome packet, nothing. We need to fix this, Sarah said. Just go to the HOA office and register him. Maybe they'll waive the fine since we didn't know. That seemed reasonable. I looked up the HOA office hours. They were open Tuesday and Thursday afternoons from 2 to 5 p.m. I decided to go that Thursday. The HOA office was located in a small building near the community entrance. When I walked in at 2:15 p.m. on Thursday, a woman in her mid-50s sat behind the desk. She had short blonde hair styled in that specific, I need to speak to the manager cut, and she was wearing a blazer that looked 2 sizes too small. Her nameplate read, Brenda Mitchell, HOA President. Can I help you? She asked without looking up from her computer. Yes, I'm Michael Torres from 847 Maple Ridge Drive. I received a violation notice about my dog, and I wanted to register him and see if we could discuss the fine. That got her attention. She looked up, and I swear I saw something flash in her eyes. Not friendliness. Something else. Mr. Torres, she said, pulling up something on her computer. Yes, I'm familiar with your situation. Situation? It was a dog. I'm sorry we didn't register him immediately, I continued. We honestly didn't know about the requirement. Our realtor never mentioned it, and we didn't see it in our welcome materials. Ignorance of the rules is not an excuse for breaking them, Brenda said flatly. The bylaws are clear. All pets must be registered within 48 hours. I understand, and I'm here to register him now. I was hoping we could discuss the $500 fine since this was an honest mistake. Brenda leaned back in her chair, folding her arms. The fine stands. However, I can process Cooper's registration today. I'll need his vaccination records, proof of licensing, and a photograph. I had everything with me. I'd come prepared. I handed over Cooper's papers, including his rabies vaccination certificate and his city license. Brenda looked through everything with this expression, like she was examining evidence at a crime scene. Then she pulled out this massive binder and started flipping through pages. What breed did you say? She asked. Golden Retriever. More page flipping. Then she stopped. Her finger landed on something, and a slow smile spread across her face. It wasn't a nice smile. Mr. Torres, I'm afraid we have a problem. According to Section 7, Paragraph 4, Subsection F of our bylaws, Brenda said, turning the binder toward me, Riverside Meadows has specific breed restrictions. I leaned forward to look. There, in tiny print, was a list of prohibited breeds. And there, nestled between German Shepherd and Rottweiler, was Golden Retriever, over 50 pounds. I blinked. I'm sorry, what? Golden Retrievers are on the restricted list. Dogs that exceed 50 pounds are considered large breed animals and are prohibited unless grandfathered in from before 2019, Brenda explained, clearly enjoying this. But Cooper is a puppy. He's only 20 pounds. Currently, Brenda said. But Golden Retrievers typically reach 60 to 75 pounds at maturity. Therefore, he falls under the restriction. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. So what are you saying? That I can't have my dog? I'm saying that according to our community guidelines, Cooper cannot remain on the property once he exceeds 50 pounds, which will likely occur within the next 6 to 8 months. My head was spinning. Nobody told us about this. We specifically chose this house because of the backyard. We got a dog because we thought it was allowed. Again, Mr. Torres, the bylaws are available to all residents. It's your responsibility to familiarize yourself with them. I took a deep breath, try and stay calm. Okay, what are my options here? Brenda closed the binder. You have 3 options. 1. Remove the dog from the property before he reaches 50 pounds. 2. Apply for a variance with the HOA board. 3. Face daily fines until compliance is achieved. Daily fines? How much? $50 per day for the first week, $100 per day for the second week, and $250 per day thereafter. I did the math quickly in my head. If this went on for a month, we'd be looking at thousands of dollars. I'll apply for the variance, I said immediately. Brenda pulled out a form. The variance application fee is $250. The board meets once per month. The next meeting is July 15th. You'll need to present your case in person. I paid the application fee on the spot, even though my hands were shaking. This was insane. Absolutely insane. As I was leaving, Brenda called out, "Oh, and Mr. Torres? The original $500 fine is still due within 30 days. Consider this your final notice." I walked out of that office feeling like I'd just been mugged. That night, Sarah and I sat at our kitchen table with Cooper sleeping at our feet, and we went through every single page of the HOA bylaws. All 147 pages. Brenda was technically correct. On page 73, in the smallest font imaginable, golden retrievers over 50 pounds were listed as prohibited. But here's what we also found. The restriction had been added in a 2019 amendment. Before that, there were no breed restrictions at all. Several of our neighbors had large dogs that had been grandfathered in. We also found something interesting in Section 3, Paragraph 8. The HOA board must act in good faith and in the best interest of the community at large. Sarah looked up from the packet. This is discrimination. Golden retrievers are literally one of the gentlest breeds. She was right. I started researching. Golden retrievers are consistently rated as one of the best family dogs. They're used as service animals, therapy dogs, search and rescue dogs. They're not aggressive. This restriction made no sense. I dug deeper. I found the meeting minutes from 2019 when the breed restriction was passed. Only 12 homeowners attended that meeting. Only 7 voted. The restriction passed 4-3. For people decided that golden retrievers were too dangerous for our community. I looked at Cooper, who was now on his back with his paws in the air, snoring softly. This dangerous animal. We're fighting this, I told Sarah. I'm not giving up our dog because of some ridiculous rule. Over the next 3 weeks, I became obsessed with building the perfect case for our variance hearing. I compiled statistics showing that golden retrievers had one of the lowest bite rates of any breed. I found studies from veterinary organizations. I gathered testimonials from dog trainers and behaviorists. I also talked to our neighbors. The support was overwhelming. The Johnsons offered to write a letter on Cooper's behalf. The Martinez kids drew pictures of Cooper with hearts and best dog ever written in crayon. Even Mrs. Chun, who was 83 years old, wrote a beautiful letter about how Cooper had brought joy to the neighborhood. I collected 17 letters of support from neighbors. 17 people who wanted Cooper to stay. I also discovered something else. Brenda Mitchell owned a small poodle. According to records, she'd never registered it with the HOA. Not once in the 3 years she'd owned it. The HOA president was breaking her own rules. I documented everything. Photos, dates, witnesses. I wasn't sure if I'd need it, but I wanted to be prepared. Sarah helped me put together a presentation. We created slides showing Cooper's training progress, his temperament, his role in our family. We practiced my speech over and over. July 15th couldn't come fast enough. Then things got weird. Starting in late June, we began receiving violation notices for the strangest things. June 28th. Our trash can was visible from the street for more than 2 hours after pickup. Fine, $50. July 2nd. Our garden hose was left out overnight. Fine, $75. July 6th. Our car was parked improperly in our driveway. Fine, $100. July 9th. Our mailbox had a small scratch on it, classified as inadequate maintenance. Fine, $150. Every single violation came with the same note. Complaint submitted by concerned resident. It was obvious what was happening. Someone was targeting us. And I had a pretty good idea who. I started documenting everything with time-stamped photos. Our trash can wasn't visible for more than 30 minutes. Our hose was on a hose reel. Our car was parked perfectly straight. Our mailbox was fine. But the violations kept coming. Sarah was getting stressed. Maybe we should just find Cooper a new home, she said one night, tears in her eyes. This is too much. I hugged her. No, we're not letting them win. That's exactly what they want. But I was getting worried too. We'd already paid over $800 in fines. And the variance hearing was still a week away. The night before, July 14th, Tomorrow was the hearing. I couldn't sleep. I kept going over my presentation, making sure I had everything perfect. All my documents were organized in a binder. My speech was memorized. I'd even bought a new shirt for the occasion. Cooper sensed my anxiety. He came over and put his head on my lap, looking up at me with those big brown eyes. "We're gonna win this, buddy," I told him, scratching behind his ears. "I promise." Sarah came into the living room. "Come to bed. You need to be rested tomorrow." She was right. I went to bed, but I barely slept. I kept imagining different scenarios. What if they denied the variance? What if they increased the fines? What if they took legal action? At 3 a.m., I got up and double-checked my presentation one more time. Everything had to be perfect. The HOA board meeting was held in the community center at 7 p.m. Sarah and I arrived at 6:45 with all